a day for a daydream. What a day for a daydreaming boy.
This now brings us back to the theme of our program today, Chapter 2. That opening scene was just the beginning of the Starsky and Hutch phenomena that ran for 92 episodes from 1975 to 1979. There just happens to be more than just one connection between the show Starsky and Hutch and his experience with us in high school. The first has to do with where in the world did he come up with the names Starsky and Hutch? Well, let's start with Hutch first. In the mid-1950s, there was an extremely popular marketing program called S&H Green Stamps. Those two letters were the first letters of the founders of the program, Sperry and Hutchinson. Bill said that he liked the sound of Hutch in Hutchinson, but he didn't think Sperry would be a very compelling name for the other character, an action detective. Well, where did he get that other name? Well, from Toledo, of course. So, in the spirit of 1950s television, will the real Starsky please stand up? Yes, it's widely believed that this is the real Starsky. He went to another high school called Ottawa Hills, but lived relatively close to Bill, and they reportedly became friends and chums during high school. Since it's been widely known that Bill liked to pick characters' names from people he knew, this one fits the bill. Excuse the pun. We move on. Back in 1965, Bill wrote me this 8-cent airmail letter from New York City. And in it, he uses two words that will lead us through the very high school prank that we performed that we believe gave him the inspiration to write the opening episode for Starsky and Hutch in 1975. Here we go. The letter reads, Dear Roger, even though my name is still Bill Blinn, I assure you no can of Arrow Shave will attack you during the reading of this letter. Arrow Shave. Now, since it's paramount to the story that we're going to tell you, it deserves a further explanation. What is Arrow Shave? Well, this vintage ad should help.
Professional barbers use lather that's extra rich, extra moist. That's why at home, Arrow Shave is just what the barber ordered. For unlike lazy lathers that come out in a slow, weary rhythm, Arrow Shave comes out trigger quick and super moist to soak and soften. Soak and soften every bit of your beard. You shave easier, closer, cleaner. Don't pay more for lazy lathers. Get active Arrow Shave. Regular or extra cool.
Remember this. Bill picked this particular product because, as the ad said, it came out finger quick and super moist. Now that's going to be very important to our story. But this rather bizarre story starts back in 1954 with a high school club called the Quill and Dagger Society, sometimes called QD. We now take you to the then QD officer and now on-the-job reporter Dave McNutt, who's on the scene at Walden Pond in Ottawa Park in Toledo, Ohio.
I stand here before you where some consider to be the epicenter of that incident in 1954, which became known as the Arrow Shave incident. I know that back then I was in that Quill and Dagger group, and Bill was our officer as well. His vice president job must have included creating practical jokes. Can you imagine how a can of shaving cream, a car, and this pond location could even remotely come together? Well, they did, and Bill made it happen. And let me tell you, that arrow shave incident was Bill's Emmy. Let's let the story speak for itself.
The leader for organizing these pranks was this guy here, George Clooney. Only his name was changed to protect his innocence. But more importantly, the person who dreamt up these creative pranks was, guess who? Just our Bill. The arrow shave joke so closely resembles something he wrote as a TV writer later on. In 1975, for the very first scene and the very first part of the Starsky and Hutch pilot episode, Bill's screenplay takes place at night in a secluded parking lot. Two men quietly approach a car with two lovers inside. The lovers can't see the men approaching because of their steamed-up windows. Nor can they hear them. That's obvious. The two men come to the front of the car, pull out their guns, and bang! Into the front window. But in 1954, Bill wrote an almost identical scene for a practical joke that could be pulled off by the Quill and Dagger guys. Same script, same sort of setup. This is a daytime picture of almost the same spot, but this took place at night in a parking lot where we saw our reporter Dave reporting earlier, Walden Pond. At night, it was a favorite spot for lovers to make out and watch submarine races. You viewers from that era know what I mean. His 1954 script called for the Q-deers to approach the lover's car, but instead of guns, they shot the front windows with super moist arrow shave. Then the whole car.
Whoops, sorry.
That's the end of our story of how our reporter Dave actually helped with a prank that Bill created 1954 on my car. And you know, it was pretty darn similar to something that Bill wrote 21 years later for Starsky and Hutch. Bill loved telling that story, and we loved listening to him tell it because he was just our Bill. We'll close this chapter now with yet another connection between Bill's early life in Toledo and his later writing inspirations. It became a running story in the family after he had created 8 is Enough. Then, this happened to his nephew George and wife Grace.
It was either right after my wife became expecting with our 8th child or after she gave birth to our 8th child. I can't remember which. I said, you know, honey, we've never even had a discussion about this before, about how many children we want to wind up having. And knowing that she had most of the logistical responsibilities of raising all the children, you know, not working outside the home, I said, so what are you thinking? She's like, well, I think 8 is enough. And I go, oh, 8 is enough. Yeah, 8 is enough. Well, okay then, 8 is enough. So we decided 8 was enough. And so we had stopped our family with 8 children. And then 5 years later, number 9 came along, and unfortunately my uncle wasn't around to do 9 is Fine show.
We thank you for watching our Chapter 2 tribute to Bill Blinn. We invite you to join us soon when we release our 3rd chapter. In it, people will be saying this.
Bill was such a creator. He was such a genius. And as an English major, I valued creativity and imagination. And Bill had it to a T.
I've heard that the cast and crew of the 1968 TV series, Fame, well, it was a high school musical series, and they all really loved Bill Blinn.
I'm going to go back into some of the things you said, just to, first of all, when you talked about the musical thing that you did, and it was a high school, did you draw on any of that when you got around to doing Fame?
In Chapter 3, The Fame Connection, we'll find out exactly how he answers that question. And then we'll also look at his experience of creating and writing a real high school musical in 1955, and how that may have played somewhat of an influence in doing the same thing for Fame. So we will see you then for more of Just Our Bill.
You know I can't smile without you. I can't smile without you. I can't laugh and I can't sing. I'm finding it hard to do anything. You see, I feel sad when you're sad. I feel glad when you're glad. If you only knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile without you. You came along just like a song and brightened my day. Who'd have believed that you were part of a dream? Now it all seems light years away.